Mary, would you like to begin?
Yes, please.
Good evening. This is the meeting of the Borough of Highlands Mayor and Council regular meeting on Wednesday, August 16th, 2023. The notice requirements provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given by transmission to the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times and by posting at the Borough of Highlands Municipal Building and filing with the Borough Clerk all on January 1st, 2023. Items listed on the agenda are subject to change. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will now call roll. Councilmember Cervantes.
Here.
Councilman Chalak.
here.
Councilman Melnick.
Here.
Council President Shevsky. Here. Mayor Brion.
Here.
First, we have other business, 430 Movie/Miller Hill Inc. application. You want to?
Mike, would you like to come up and tell the council about the film?
Good evening, everybody. Did you, Mayor Willen, did you see my email?
Yes.
Okay, terrific. Yeah, I'm Mike Anthony. I'm the location manager on Kevin Smith, who grew up in Highlands. He's making a movie that takes place in 1986 based on his childhood, Highlands, Atlantic Highlands. And so we have our filming schedule in Highlands. We're looking at, Tuesday, August 29th. We're going to start the day in Leonardo. We're filming in a couple of houses there, and then we would move over in the afternoon to the stone steps that are across from 94 Highland Avenue, and we film there till about 6 or 7 p.m. We would request, we have 2 equipment trucks that we'd like to park somewhere, at a frame on Highland Avenue, and we'd like to have a couple of police officers with us to hold traffic intermittently, while we're filming. It's 1986, we don't want to have any modern cars in the scene. Wednesday, August 30th, I just realized how close it is. Right on, we have a house on 47 Waterwitch. We're going to film in the backyard and the side yard. It's Kevin's, one of his friends growing up, that would be his house. We would want police assistance. I think it's just be pretty contained there, but I think it'd be a good idea to have a police officer with us.
Absolutely.
Tuesday, September 5th is a big day. We're going to start down by Moby's and Bears, and then Our Lady of Perpetual Help Church will be at the end of the day, Franny's Pizza, but then we have, it's young Kevin riding his bike along Bay Avenue, and so we want to see, all the, the businesses and, kind of the neighborhood there. So that, and we'll have, the camera will be in a golf cart, kind of following the bike. So we definitely need police assistance on Bay Avenue. And then Wednesday, September 6th, will be pretty well contained. We'll be at Twin Lights, filming there. Everybody, the rest of the movie, most of it takes place in the theater in Atlantic Island, so.
Right.
Yeah.
No, as we said at the meeting earlier, anything that we could do to help, just make sure that you keep Mike, Muscello, Spencer, and the chief
Yes.
always up to date if something changes, if rain or something else
Right.
moves the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, if weather's bad, we would have to shift the schedule, and then
Yep.
you'd have to let us know what what date that, that we could push it to. But yeah, I'd love to even, we're gonna do a final walkthrough of all the locations next Wednesday. Maybe I could even meet Chief Burton. We can go look at the location, kind of, so he knows what, where we want it, where we would need to hold parking spaces on Bay Avenue, because we don't want to have modern cars.
Right.
So we would love to have, sections of it that,
Yes, he did mention, putting up some no parking signs for the day
that
in
would
certain
help out,
areas.
Yeah,
Does
so,
anyone have any questions for Ms. Anthony?
I know this was addressed in prior communications, but just considering, and just for the record, considering the labor situation in the film industry, can you just address how you're going to account for that, knowing that
could you
there's...
speak up?
Sorry, Don Melnick, and so just the current actor strike.
Yes.
How are you guys handling that?
Right, what
considering-
happened was, because it is an independently financed film, SAG, the Screen Actors Guild, is giving waivers to independent films. So, it's not attached to Netflix or Paramount So that's why. So SAG's actually given out about over 100 waivers to independent films. So that's, yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Just want to make sure that there's no negative publicity
Right.
associated with this. So
Yeah.
that's great. Thank you.
No, I mean, there should be no picketing.
Great.
So,
That's the thrust of it. So
Yes,
thanks.
absolutely. Any other questions?
A comment, if you guys need my parking lot, 272 Bay Avenue, across the street for anything, let me know. I'll be more than
Okay.
happy to,
yes,
to support you.
okay. Yeah, if I can get your email address or something,
Definitely.
we keep in contact,
Mm-hmm.
we'll talk to you about that. I was actually I was wondering, could the community center be available for, for bathrooms and our, when we have lunch? Is this room, could that be available on, at least for a couple of the days on, August 30th and September 5th?
Have to check with the
I was gonna
program.
say, we'd have to check what programming is
Right.
going on,
Sure.
especially but young children are here, so
Oh, okay.
it's like anybody that comes in contact
Only
has to
if
be
I was talking to the
fingerprinted and all that
VFW
kind of
hall,
fun.
but then I saw your space too. It's even close. Didn't realize how close it is
Yeah.
to Waterwich, so.
But we'll let you know about programming.
Okay.
VFW has better drinks, so.
Okay.
Any other comments, questions, remarks?
We'll have garbage at the end of the night, but
Mhm.
we'll probably hire a private garbage collector to take everything away. We'll make sure everything is left clean and.
Okay. I will have Mike get back to you, Mike Michelle will get back to you regarding access to this building. Access to this building.
Yes.
Okay.
please, Yeah.
So I will let him know to look into programming and see if we can make that possible.
Okay,
Okay?
perfect.
All right, awesome.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next, we have approval of minutes, July 19, 2023 meeting minutes.
I'll offer.
Second?
Councilmember Cervantes,
I'm abstaining.
Councilmember Chalak,
Yes.
Councilman Melnick,
Yes.
Council President Chesky.
Yes.
Mayor Briand.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve July 19, 2023 meeting minutes. Next, we have July 19, 2023 executive session minutes.
I'll offer those. I'll second.
Councilmember Cervantes,
I'm out.
Councilman Chalak,
Yes.
Councilman Melnick.
Yes.
Council President Chesky.
Yes.
Mayor Briand.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve July 19, 2023 executive session minutes. Next, we have introduction of proposed ordinances. 02313, bond ordinance amending in part bond ordinance number 02128, adopted on June 16, 2021, providing for the construction of a new municipal building for the Borough of Highlands in order to increase the authorized bonds and notes to be issued to finance a portion of the cost thereof by $3,420,000 for a total debt authorization of $8,170,000 authorized in and by the Borough of Highlands in the County of Monmouth, New Jersey.
Pat, if you could you just go over the change from the June 16, 21 bond ordinance to what we're doing today?
Sure
Thank you.
can. And good evening. So we had we previously passed an ordinance number 21-28, and that set up $10,000 of funding for the municipal building. There's been discussions with FEMA on how much they're going to pay, and it's an ongoing discussion, and we're fighting the best we can to try to get as much money as we can. But at this point in time, we did lay out the money, and we need to replenish the money that the town had spent. So right now, FEMA is pledging to pay $2.6 million. And we did anticipate in this ordinance of them paying $5 million. The fight's not over, it's still ongoing, but as of today, that's where the number sits. So in order to pay for the building there, we have to amend the existing ordinance, and that's what the purpose of ordinance 23-13 is simply to enable the borough to fund the balance of that building. So now it comes out to be, what happens if additional funds come in excess of the $2.6 million? And what we'll do is we'll take that money, set it aside, and pay down debt service. So it won't cost it, it would only help us if we get additional money, and then that's the purpose of this ordinance.
Excellent, thank you so much for that.
And thank you.
I will offer this ordinance.
Second.
Councilmember Cervantes,
Yes.
Councilman Chalak,
Yes.
Councilman Melnick,
Yes.
Council President Chesky,
Yes.
Mayor Briand.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance 02313 on first reading with a public hearing to be held on September 6, 2023. Next, we have ordinance O2314, amending Chapter 2, Administration, Section 2-10, Police Department, subsection 2-10.6, Police Headquarters of the Code of the Borough of Highlands.
What this ordinance is we just have to say that the police headquarters resides at X address. So we are changing this to the 151 Navesink address, which is the new Borough Hall. And the way that our ordinances work is that, we have this reading, then we've got the second reading for where there's public input, and then after that, I believe it's another 30 days until the actual ordinance takes effect, and by the time that all of those things happen, they'll be up at that building. So it's really just bookkeeping. And with that, I'll offer.
I'll second.
Councilmember Cervantes.
Yes.
Councilmember Chalak.
Yes.
Councilmember Melnick.
Yes.
Council President Chesky.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass ordinance O2314 on first reading with a public hearing to be held on September 6, 2023. Next, we have ordinance O2315, amending Chapter 11, Uniform Fire Code, Section 11-5, appointments, qualifications, terms of office, removal.
Anyone make an offer on this one?
I will.
Okay. Then I'll second it.
Councilmember Cervantes.
Yes.
Councilmember Chalak.
Yes.
Councilmember Melnick.
Yes.
Council President Chesky.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance O2315 on first reading with a public hearing to be held on September 6, 2023. Next, we have O2316, amending Borough of Highlands revised general ordinances, adding code section 2-24.6, reports to require the Borough of Highlands First Aid Squad to provide monthly reports to the Borough Administrator.
I'll offer. I'll second.
Councilmember Cervantes.
Yes.
Councilmember Chalak.
Yes.
Councilmember Melnick.
Yes.
Council President Chesky.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass ordinance O2316 on first reading with a public hearing to be held on September 6, 2023. Next, we have O2317, amending Borough of Highlands revised general ordinances to add code section 2-11.6, reports to require the Borough Fire Department to provide monthly reports to the Borough Administrator.
We'll offer.
Second.
Councilmember Cervantes.
Yes.
Councilmember Chalak.
Yes.
Councilmember Melnick.
Yes.
Council President Chesky.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass ordinance O2317 on first reading with a public hearing to be held on September 6, 2023. Next, we have O2318, accepting storm drainage easement for Block 3, Lot 7.02.
I will offer this one.
Second.
Councilmember Cervantes.
Yes.
Councilman Chalak.
Yes.
Councilman Melnick.
Yes.
Council President Chesky.
Just have one question. Is that the house?
This is to
out
aid
of all
in
that trouble?
the flooding
Yes.
that happens at 88-1,
Yes.
that whole development, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
My answer is yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass ordinance O2318 on first reading with a public hearing to be held on September 6, 2023. Next, we have resolutions. R23-168, approving renewal of liquor licenses for the term 2023-24 term.
I'll offer it.
I'll second.
Councilmember Cervantes.
I'm out.
Councilmember Chalak.
Yes.
Councilmember Melnick.
Yes.
Council President Chesky.
Yes.
Mayor Brion.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolutions R23-186. Next, we have consent agenda. Mayor, would you like me to read the resolutions by title?
Before you go, I'd like to make a motion to separate 23-171 from the rest of the consent agenda.
171?
Sorry. 183,
Defense?
183, apologize.
1, 3.
I'm sorry, which one was that?
Appointing Paul Murphy. 23-183.
2383?
183,
23,
Paul Murphy.
183.
one right before you, Nancy.
We're pulling that one.
I'm making a motion to
Okay.
separate, yeah. And looking for any second.
Oh, I'll second it, to take it out, sure.
Second.
Can I ask why we're taking it out?
It's, my choice is to not vote for Paul Murphy, and so separating it from the rest of the consent
I
agenda
see.
is allowed me to
Okay.
vote.
All right.
All right.
I've seconded.
Let's, yep. Councilmember, Councilmember Cervantes.
Yes.
Councilmember Chalak.
Yes.
Councilman Melnick.
Yes.
Council President Olszewski.
Yes.
Mayor Briand.
Yes.
Motion carries to pull R23-183 from the consent agenda. So Mayor, would you like me to read the resolutions by title? Resolutions R23-169 through 23-185 minus R23-183.
You do not need to read them over again. I think we could just mark it for the record that we removed 23-183 from the consent agenda.
Yep,
And then I will offer the consent agenda.
okay.
Second.
I appreciate that very much. Councilmember Cervantes.
Yes.
Councilmember Chalak.
Yes.
Councilmember Melnick.
Yes.
Council President Olszewski.
Yes.
Mayor Briand.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolutions R23-169 through R23-185 minus R23-183. Next, we have resolution R23-183, appointing Paul A. Murphy Jr. as fire official and housing inspector.
I will make that motion.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Carol.
Don seconded.
Don is second. Councilmember Cervantes.
Yes.
Councilmember Chalak.
Yes.
Councilman Melnick.
No.
Council President Olszewski.
Yes.
Mayor Briand.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution R23-183. Next, we have reports. Mayor's report.
The July report, we had our ribbon cutting over at the municipal building. We are planning to move in at the beginning of September, right around probably after Labor Day. For the Waterwitch Pump Station, if you've been down Waterwitch Ave, you'll see that the old building that was falling down has been removed. They're working on the electric service now. The skate park, that ribbon cutting was the 28th. That's completed, so we won't be reporting on that one so much. We are looking, actually today in that big long consent agenda, was the awarding the contract to the fence company that's going to continue the 20-foot long fence that goes around the basketball and the tennis courts, and it's going to continue along that as well. We're also ordering some arborvitae to make a natural screen in between the residents and the actual park. For the big headache of that large sanitary sewer project, mains and laterals that have been complete are on Central Ocean Beach and Gravelly. Mains that are complete are Linden, Ralph, and William. Work planned for this month is North Street and Bay Mains. Also planned for the end of August is the removal of the wells on Beach, Central, and Ocean. So those unsightly things will finally be gone from that area of town. For the charging station, we still patiently wait for JCP&L to literally connect the electric. Exactly. I mean, it really, literally is all ready to go. We just need somebody from JCP&L to get up there on a bucket truck and tie in the electric. So we've been waiting since June 29th.
Are the PDs working?
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah. Jones Creek, we still have not heard back from CAFRA on our permits, but engineering plans are still progressing with that. The Portland Road guardrail, again, we are patiently waiting for the county, but not so patiently because we're also through that project into our 2024 DOT municipal grant for work done on Portland Road and Grand Tour. For planned construction, we have the Bayside Drive and Marie Street. Engineering, we're waiting DOT to approve engineering, and once that happens, we'll be able to go out to bid. For updates to Vets Park, bids were due on August 2nd, and those are in legal review right now, so hopefully we'll be able to award that next meeting. Overlook Park, they're still doing environmental work. This is, we're doing this work on Overlook that is Green Acres. So there's a certain amount of environmental work we have to do before we can do anything. So once the environmental is over, then we could move forward there. Frank Hall Park, we're still looking at all of the grants. Marine Place, CDBG doesn't come in until the fall, right? Or is it, yeah, it's like late fall. Okay, so we'll be looking for that in October. For the resiliency plan, we have applied for yet another grant, and this is a US DOT grant called Promoting Resilient Operations for Transformative, Efficient, and Cost-Saving Transportation. And that is for the Snug Harbor project and the whole surrounding area. That's called, the acronym is the PROTECT program. For a regionalization update, the Commissioner of Education approved the 3 Board of Ed's petition for a September 26th special election. The Commissioner has not yet approved the 3-borough, 3-town resolution that we submitted for a November vote. If I'm not mistaken, the Commissioner has until the 18th to give us a thumbs up or thumbs down to get that on the ballot in November. Did you want to add to that at all, either of you?
Just the fact that it put at odds 2 different votes at 2 different times with 2 different funding formulas.
Yeah.
Which again, the funding formula the boards are offering is 0% based on enrollment. So you can use as much of the schools as you want, and it doesn't make a difference as to which town is contributing. It's odd.
Add to the fact they have to put 135 more kids than we do, so we would be paying equal freight, even though everything is not being used equally.
Correct.
That's being pushed by the Atlantic Highlands Board of Ed?
Well, all 3 boards.
The boards pushed it through themselves. Yes.
Even the Highlands.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. Even the Highlands and the
All
combined.
3 boards voted unanimously.
regional, which represents both Highlands and Atlantic Highlands, all said that that's a great idea.
So what that would do is, there's a certain amount of aid that all communities get that have schools. It would stall the taking, all of that is going least lower and lower and lower every year. So it'll stall it for a couple of years, but then after those couple of years are over, any cost savings that we would see would disappear. So we would be stuck in the same situation that we're in right now at Henry Hudson, where, again, we have less kids and we pay an actual, it's not half and half, we pay a higher dollar amount than Atlantic Highlands does for Henry Hudson, which makes, yeah, it makes no sense. So that's what that vote is all about. I'm sure there's going to be town halls and there's going to be a lot of stuff on Facebook and a lot of chatter about it, but we just tried to break it down to the least common denominator. We can discuss more if anyone has questions in public portion. For the grant funding update, we have our new total so far for 2023 is $2,602,058, which is not too shabby. $58, right. Monmouth Hills runoff, again, we are still working, well, that PROTECT program, that grant that we're looking for, that would also help with that mess. And progress for our CRS, which is the community rating system for lower flood insurance. Our coordinator has applied to Region 2, FEMA, to get our compliance audit secured. This is huge because nothing's been happening on this front in quite some time until our new coordinator came on board. And she also secured an agreement with a floodplain management software called Forerunner. And that was also in this large consent agenda. And this management tool is used by a lot of different towns that are either have CRS already or are looking to be included into the program. It's going to have both a public interface and a private interface. So you could just, once it's live, you could just go in and plug in your address. It'll show where you are, what your flood zone is. We're asking everyone to, once it gets to a place of, that we've been trained on it more, people can upload their flood insurance certificates right into the program, and then it will read the flood insurance certificate and then populate all of the fields for your property. So it's a really incredible tool, and well worth the cost. I think it was like $9,000 or something like
Yeah, I
that.
saw that in the budget, and I was wondering how it was used.
So it's great. So we'll have a login for floodplain manager, for the building department, once we go out and hire those people, and obviously the CRS coordinator. So it'll be good. We're looking to really tighten up that whole area so that we could get as many points as we can get. The more points we get, the lower our flood insurance premiums would be. And that is my report. And since Mr. Muscello is not with us this evening, I think I covered all of these things as well. Bennett, do you have anything to add regarding either the sanitary project or?
You covered most of it.
Okay.
The only thing I'll add to the sanitary project is the contractor is planning to start putting back together the roads at Central Ocean Beach with concrete work and repaving after Labor Day. They're waiting for the summer crowds to leave, and that is anticipated in September.
That same little loop, awesome. Beach, Central, and Ocean. Excellent. And that's concrete work and the paving. Beach, Central, and Ocean. So concrete sidewalks and curbs and the asphalt.
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything like, well, you have
I do.
something, I do. Go ahead.
Can I go?
Sure.
Okay. This is actually all from the Environmental Commission meeting the other night. Well, not the other night, the last couple of meetings. I informed the EC about the sandsaver.com. Their reaction was very positive, and they'll be investigating the concept and we'll report back at our next meeting next month. They are preparing a letter to be sent to the Gateway National Park on Sandy Hook regarding a series of street lights that stay on at the entrance to the park. You can view these lights from the Highland side of the bridge, right by bars. You can see them, well, standing by bars. The EC maintains that the unnatural light reflecting on the surrounding land and river negatively impact marine and wildlife, and they would like the council to endorse the letter, which will be forthcoming. We discussed the terrible traffic conditions that every Highlands resident experiences on summer weekends due to the high volume of cars traveling to Sandy Hook. Various solutions were discussed, including having stickers issued to Highlands residents to be placed on their windshields to let law enforcement know their status, and to let residents only through blocked streets. Much of the problem lies with the ticket booths on Sandy Hook, perhaps a type of easy pass could be used to move traffic more quickly. The EC would also like an endorsement from the council on any letter sent to Gateway regarding the problem.
Can I just get your up for
Sure.
a moment? What the suggestion of
Stickers?
the stickers and only letting Highlands residents use Highlands roads is illegal. That's why it hasn't been done.
Okay.
As the law is that if you have a legally registered vehicle, that it has been inspected and is all up to date and is otherwise in compliance with the law, it can be on any road.
Okay.
So even though I love that idea, but we just can't do it.
All right. That makes total sense. Okay. Will the borough be sending out a hazardous waste flyer to all residents? It should include explanations of how to dispose of different items. As hurricane season is upon us, the flyers should go out soon. Now, I seem to recall getting one of those one year with my tax bill.
Spencer's on it, he's already making notes.
great.
We can send one out for our next mail.
Mhm.
Okay. And finally, they are greatly concerned about the fecal matter being discovered at some of our beaches. Steve believes it is the result, he's the chairman of the commission, that is the result of the sewer project. And I asked him in an email today to cite his sources for that conclusion. I'm waiting for his reply. And he also, I was given a letter, like a draft of a letter that they wish the borough would send to the New Jersey DEP to identify the source of the bacteria.
Okay, could you send that to Andy and the rest of council, just so that we
Is it right
have it?
here?
Sure,
Okay.
can I speak to that real quick?
Sure.
It's actually kind of reversed. The sewer project is a result of fecal matter being found at the beaches. Back in, I want to say it's 2019 maybe, the DEP.
18, I think it was.
Maybe 18.
Yeah.
The DEP does testing at all public beaches all over the state, and they found elevated fecal coliform counts at Santa Barbara Beach. And one thing led to another. Testing was done, evaluations, and it was determined that it was coming from all of the infiltration and inflow that's getting into the sanitary sewer system, causing it to surcharge out during heavy rainfall events, which then flows down the street into the storm sewers and eventually gets to the beach. That's why we undertook this large sanitary sewer project to eliminate the infiltration inflow and basically seal up the pipes, replace the pipes, and not allow that stormwater and groundwater to get into the sanitary sewer, which is causing this. And by doing the project, it's going to reduce that.
Also, if you go to the njbeaches.org and you click on either this beach or Miller Beach, it'll show you exactly what the readings are from DEP. And you'll notice that usually it is a lot larger than the 5 or 10 that is normally done when it's right after a rainstorm, because you have to figure all of the birds and the squirrels and some bad dog owners that don't pick up after their dogs, and all the raccoons and everything that lives in the woods and at Shadow Lawn. When it rains, all of that goes downhill and it all goes into the bay. So, as Bennett was saying, those reports from DEP back in 17 and 18 were what led us to here with this project. But if it would happen all the time, then I would say, yes, there's a cause for concern. When it's only happening after a strong rain event, then that's usually a reason why.
And a symptom that's consistent from here all the way down to Cape May.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
you can find any number of those beaches. I'd say that our beaches rarely, show up on that report that the mayor's mentioned.
Yeah, you can go back to, I think the data goes back to 2006, if I'm not mistaken. And you can download in Excel and just look to see when it was ever at, I want to say, the bathing standard, and it must be under 104 units per microliter, I think it is. Anyway, it's not often.
Yeah.
And it was a lot more prevalent back
Understood.
years ago than it is recent. But you still have more to go?
Yeah, I just realized that I failed to say that perhaps a letter to the Gateway, it's the ticket booths. They're taking so long for the cars to go through. In fact, somebody told me that one of the people was having this long conversation with one of the cars, and everybody's lined up in back of them. So if they could figure out some kind of easy pass, if you suggested it through EC sending.
We've been suggesting that for about 4 years.
Any, no,
No, but the problem with the Park Service is that it's not the Park Service that's the problem. The Park Service answers to the Department of the Interior, and the Department of the Interior doesn't care about Highlands. So we did have a conversation with the parks.
Not long ago.
not long ago, last week I think it was, right? And it was the first one that we actually got everybody together on Zoom and said, these are issues. Chief had a lot of really great suggestions, such as parking kiosks in the actual parking lots themselves. So to get rid of those little guard houses.
Right, right.
And there could be a provision made with that type of an electronic parking system that if you had a pass, you would also have some sort of a, like a code, like a PIN code. And that way you can punch that into the thing and it would allow you to park in there. That way, there's no stopping, you know, and then if it's full and there's no place to park, and then the person would leave. But what is very interesting is that with all of this traffic that we've been experiencing, not once has the park ever reached capacity because people just can't get into the park. It's the ticketing system that they changed. It's the fact that now they're cashless, that they're scanning the barcode on the season pass, and they've gotten rid of that one lane that was just for season pass holders, and they would just wave people through because a lot of people are counterfeiting the actual pass, so that's why they stopped doing that. So it's a problem. They know it's a problem. We know it's a problem, and we're just committed to continually keep the flow of information going. Hopefully, if we can find some sort of resolution that we can get enacted now before the end, you know what I mean, before this all comes back next year, that would be the ideal situation, and that's what we're working towards.
Do you think Congressman Pallone could help us at all?
We had this guy on that call too. Yeah. But I'm glad everyone's thinking in the same, you know.
Yeah, the same way. I mean-
Government will be better.
Oh, the governor?
Governor.
Ah,
I think the Department of Interior thinks less.
less than him, yeah, this is
Yeah.
federal.
It's like, it's
a
federal
thing,
government,
not
you need
just
to get your
state.
federal friends
Yeah.
to help you.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else?
No, that's it.
I was gonna say, the amazing thing is there were 4,800 parking places.
Yes, something crazy
They
like
don't
that.
fill that.
And they don't fill it
They don't
because
fill
they're
it.
sitting on 36.
Yes.
Anyone else have anything they'd like to add? No?
Public portion.
There you go.
Individuals wishing to address the council shall be recognized by the presiding officer and shall give their name, address, and the group, if any, they represent. Although the council encourages public participation and reserves the right, through its presiding officer, to terminate remarks to and/or by any individuals not in keeping with the conduct of a proper and efficient meeting. If any individuals refuses to conduct themselves in a proper manner, they will be removed from the meeting. The council will not, during the public portion of this meeting, discuss matters involving employment, appointment, termination of employment, negotiations, terms and conditions of employment, evaluation of the performance of promotion or discipline of any specific or prospective or current employee. There is a 3-minute time limit for your comments.
Sure, please. If you could just state your name and address for the record.
I'm Jerry Elson, 218 Neversink Highlands, New Jersey. Some of the reason I'm here, you sort of touched on, but I'm going to see if I could add something to it. For the first, I've been here almost 40 years. I also have a house up in Fort Lee, which we have traffic every single day to the bridge, way worse than this. And on the holidays, it's even worse. And we had Bridgegate through Fort Lee.
Right.
Okay, so we're experts in traffic. There are certain streets in Fort Lee where people would cut through, try to get through to get onto the bridge. And that street is blocked, and people who own homes in that, they get these things. It says, traffic pass Borough of Fort Lee. Okay, I've had this a while. But they've been doing this for years. And you're saying it's illegal, but they're doing it. And what brought me here today, first time in my life in this town, nearly 40 years, I'm off the highway, come around, come up by the bridge, the Highlands Police won't let me make a right. I'm trying to get to my boat in Seabright. Mind you, I've been here, there's been traffic, people have been here probably much longer than me, all the time, there's always been traffic in front of my house, a few houses down from O'Neill's house, all the time. So this is nothing new. But what is new is that he told me I couldn't get onto the road. So I go all the way around to the church. Now I'm told I can't make a right again onto the highway in front of my house. I should go up to CVS and make a U-turn and then come down another mile to get back where I was, which is totally ridiculous. And there some people commented on the Fort Highlands page about, well, maybe it's an emergency. There's no emergency. It's traffic. It's always been traffic. We had a drawbridge, remember? That was traffic. They put a $160-some million bridge in, same traffic. Someone got rich building it, but it's the same traffic. And now they're building another bridge in Seabright. But when I went around to get to my boat, Seabright, went back way, got up to over the bridge there that's being replaced, they don't care which way you go. So, you know what I'm saying? There's something wrong with our policies, especially to treat residents of this town, telling them they can't get onto the highway that goes through their town. And, there can't be a legal reason why that was done. There's no emergency. It was just arbitrary. An arbitrary and capricious decision by somebody to do this. And it did nothing but bring hardship on Highlands residents for no reason at all. I mean, I'm sure the pass, we have passes. It could be something you stick in your window because many people here have more than one car. In Fort Lee, they have a parking commission. Every year you pay $10 so that you can park in front of your own house. No one can park in front of your house until a certain time of the day, which would alleviate some of the complaints I read over on our page about people can't have to walk 3 blocks to get back to their house because people are parking there. A lot of towns do it. You just have a parking ordinance. You say no park. You need a permit up to 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whenever people would get home, and then anybody can park any place they can, or they can use that municipal lot we just built. Which, if anyone's gone to New York City, parking is never great. So, it's just part of life. So, I mean, that's something I just thought I'd mention because a lot of people are commenting. I'm off the highway. I have a big property overlooking Pac Deck Towers. I can fit about 15 cars in my driveway. So I don't have that problem, but everyone else down here does. I also don't get flooded. I'm on top of the hill. So, but this thing about restricting Highlands residents either to get into their own town, I think
I did speak to the chief of police on Monday about that.
And that's ridiculous, really. And if it's illegal, I mean, come up to North Avenue off Route 46 during any rush hour.
I'm just telling you that that town,
Well, here's the thing, 40 years
Leonia,
in Fort
right?
Lee, so I understand your pain.
Right.
However, the law was written based on Leonia.
Oh, no, I know,
Back way
I
to
know.
Leonia.
And they
In
still
90
have that sign up, you just go
Yes.
right by it.
Yeah.
But
But it's 2018, this law was passed, so somehow Fort Lee has maneuvered around it, maybe we should find out.
I was
how.
gonna suggest it, why don't you call the police chief in Fort Lee? How are they doing it? I mean, a lot of towns have ordinances about parking. Look at Hoboken. You ever try to park in Hoboken?
well, this isn't about parking. This is about stopping a
No, I know.
registered vehicle from being on a road. Now,
Right.
that's one
Well,
thing,
this
but
road-
for the officer, I mean, you could call the chief of police if you want a better answer than what you're gonna get
Yeah.
here, because we don't control the police officers.
Right.
The chief of police controls the police officers.
Right.
So if you want an answer as to why that was being done and if it's gonna happen, that's gotta come from him, not from us.
Well, the
I
police
told him that
officer-
it was not a really good idea, and he said he was gonna look at it with his captain and see about something different. What our police officers are concerned as for the residents of our town is that all of these people that have no idea about any of the streets in Highlands think that every street is a way to get around to
Right.
some magic place that's gonna get them onto the bridge
Right.
better than Route 36. And our concern is on the very narrow streets that are above it,
Mhm.
like Highland Ave, Miller, Woodland, all of those other
Right.
Prospect. is that people are gonna start driving up all those streets, and then they're gonna get clogged, and then nothing's going to move, and everyone will be stuck.
Right.
That's what they're trying to avoid.
No, I understand, and I know that Leonia, and that was illegal, and, you know, but what I'm saying is, call the police chief, have him call the police chief in Fort Lee. How are we doing it? Because North Avenue, every time 46, every single day gets blocked. They put up a stanchion, if there's a cop there or not, sometimes there is, just show him your pass, he lets you in. Now, there's ways of finessing the law, you know, and that's one thing. But more important was the fact that I was told, the police officer said to me, well, you know, nobody has the traffic we do. I said, oh, really? I said, did you ever hear of Bridgegate and things like that? You know, he probably didn't, because he was a young guy. But, you know, all I can say is I've been here nearly 40 years, and this is nothing new. You know, and when they, as I said, when they built that big bridge, I knew that it goes into
The problem's not the bridge, the
No, I know the
problem
problem's
is
not the
Sandy
bridge.
Hook.
Yeah, it goes into 2 lanes, and it's the same, and another drawbridge, and you know, so, but that's nothing anyone could do anything about. Now you don't have to wait for the drawbridge to open, but, you know, it's just, that was a really, really bad idea for no particular, I can't see any logic to that, except to penalize people living in town. But he told me to drive up the street and do a U-turn and come back. So already I drove from the bridge back around the church, and then I was told to go there and then come back again into the same traffic. You know, it's a really bad idea, and you know, somebody, you know, if he thinks it's a good idea, he really needs to talk to some towns, police chiefs that have real traffic. This is once in a while. We have, you know, as I said, place up at the old Guiney property, one, if anyone's lived there that long, with the distillery under my property. Highlands used to be notorious for that. So it's on my property. So I would really, you know, if I'll talk to the police chief. I'll give him some ideas, but that was, I think, the worst idea I've seen happen in this town for no reason at all.
Right.
So that's it. And I would suggest it must not be illegal to have parking stickers for the people down here that set limits.
No, I wasn't talking about parking. I was saying that it's illegal to stop any car that's not a Highlands resident's car from traveling on Highlands roads.
Well, I hear what you're saying. I know it went through Leonia.
Yeah.
But
It went through, but then a judge threw it out. But we're looking at all of the
Tell them
options.
to call Fort Lee.
Sure,
Yes.
will
How
do.
we What can I say? But that's
Thanks
one
about
thing,
that.
and the other thing is just allowing people to access the state highway in front of their.
Right, and as I said, I did mention this to him on Monday. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
Hi everyone, Doug Davis, 17 Central Avenue, Highlands. I will address the flooding and the whatnot from, with the administrator. I know I'm on the clock. Right now, I'd like to talk about 3 quick things. First, the light that's still on in the skateboard park. We've talked about that in the past, and I know my neighbors have a very specific problem with it shining in their window, but it's exacerbating the trespassing problem after hours. And even the basketball players are using that light to stay later and play longer, which increases the noise and the general nuisance in our neighborhood back here. I've spoken with some police officers, and they've been very gracious, and they've been very responsive, and I appreciate that. There are a lot of rules being broken. We don't have someone in charge of this facility, this park. There's nobody to report to other than the police. The rules are posted. I rattled off 14 that I saw broken and without taking a breath the other morning. The wrong vehicles, bicycles, razor scooters, children underage, nobody's wearing the right equipment. They're there whenever they want to be because they can jump the fence. I realize the larger fence is being put up, but there's just nobody in charge. The officers have to realize what the rules are in order to enforce them, and somebody has to watch, and it's right outside. I am closer than I am to you when I'm standing on my deck to the folks standing on that high ramp, drinking beer, smoking weed. I mean, I can't report everything. I don't want to report everything. I don't want to see it. And these folks just interact with me like I'm on the street with them. There's no shame or politeness. We walk out of our house to our deck and they just say, hi, how long has this been here? You know, I don't want to talk to them. That's a courtesy issue, but the lack of privacy is really a problem. They speak to our dogs, they meow at our dogs, they complain about our dogs, the dogs don't like them. And the skate ramp is this high and our fence is this high. They're standing right over us all the time. So that brings me to the light, the job, which I don't know how that's going to be addressed, but we need somebody in charge of that place and to supervise, like you would have a lifeguard at a beach. It's a dangerous situation over there. I've seen razor scooters and bicycles run into each other while the skateboarders wait their turn. So it's ridiculous, but the policeman can't do everything about that. I know it's an ordinance, so it's all against the law. To that end, I'm looking right at it. I can't report everything. I don't want to. And I feel like if I don't report the beer, how can I tell them that it's just as important to enforce the 8 o'clock or the dusk? I mean, I call 2 minutes after dusk almost every day. We want our yard back. And so when we put this fence up, and I don't know how tall the arborvitae trees are going to be, but if the line of sight isn't broken, I mean interrupted, not just slightly mitigated with the screen, we're not going to have any real improvement. And so I'm hoping that the screen and or the arborvitae are going to block the line of sight between our yard and those people, because it's just an intrusion. It's a constant intrusion. 10 a.m. for at least 10 hours a day. I have people in my backyard, and it's the cast of the Jackass movies. The other thing I wanted to bring up is in the past when I was here, we talked about passing this ordinance, and I was given to understand that ordinance covers only the skate park. I was not able to find ordinances covering hours, noise being blasted from amplified boom boxes and whatnot, music, that sort of thing. So I would like to please propose that we maybe enact an ordinance or begin looking into how we can regulate the behavior and so that the same rules apply throughout this facility. Our facility here is different than the one down at Veterans Park or the one up by the elementary school. There are houses right here. We're sharing a fence. So if we could please hold the basketball players to the same rules that we're holding the skate park, because they're blasting the music for the skate park players now. There's no way we can turn it off. The separation has not been, and I thank you for your patience, but the separation has not been established because there are different rules in different areas. So if we could have the ordinance extended or amended to this facility,
Please wrap up.
that would help. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike?
Michael Cannon, 10 Central Ave. Just a couple of questions. You mentioned the CAFRA permit for Jones Creek. I assume that is just for the dredging on Jones Creek, not for the
Correct.
pump station or other improvements. Is that project still, I'm assuming, still under review for grants?
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned flood insurance certificates in that program. I'm assuming you're meaning elevation certificates? Okay, because that's an issue that your old elevation certificates did not automatically transfer to the new rating 2, risk rating 2 program that FEMA's using. So it would be good to communicate to people how to address changes in flood insurance related to the new rating system and getting these their elevation certificates recognized again. With regard to the school tax situation, what is the current sharing plan for Henry Hudson versus the proposed plan in the referendum that is up for vote? Is it favorable to us or unfavorable to us regarding Henry Hudson?
Right now, it's a little bit, it's different because Henry Hudson Regional is a limited purpose district, which means it's only 7 through 12. It's not the rest, it's not the pre-K going through. So there was some like voodoo math going on with how they make, how it's supposedly a 100% valuation, but it's really not, because it also has to do with how many kids are in the system. In the new, if the referendum passes, it will be 100% valuation if you want to continue. It's your specialty, your mana over here.
What's there now looks at the whole of your population. So it looks at the number of kids in Henry Hudson and the number of kids in Highlands Elementary. And it doesn't look at numbers, it looks at percentage. So we have a greater percentage of our kids at Henry Hudson than Atlantic Highlands does. So that's negative for us. We pay more because of that. It's crazy.
A greater percentage of our total school-age population
Is at Henry Hudson, even though the total percentage, the total numbers, we have probably 135 less kids in total.
So that's
It's an odd way to compute.
that's, I've never heard of that.
Yes.
But,
So what's going to happen if this, this
Question,
vote
yeah.
passes, this question passes, then it'll be based on the total equalized valuation in each town. And we're almost nose to nose with Atlantic Highlands. It's gonna come soon. So we will be paying the same. We'll give up the elementary school into the regionalized school district, and we will be paying the same. Even though right now, they spend over $1 million more at their elementary than we do. So the best answer in the end is back off, wait for Seabright, because it answers this. But they're only going to bring in maybe 46 kids is all they have in total in all their school age population.
Yeah.
But money will come that will be far more advantageous for everybody.
I understand the Seabright piece, but I'm just trying to understand whether we're at such a disadvantage at the Henry Hudson sharing now, but that's a very fluid sharing formula which changes with the distribution of school-age children. So that's not a permanent setting that we're gonna be paying more for Henry Hudson than, that may go down.
We're
in the
going to be
future.
paying a lot more per kid. If you want to look at it in another way.
Yeah.
We are right now paying something around $7,000, $8,000 more per kid. If you look at it in that mathematical
Yeah,
perspective.
I'm trying to get the total, because that brings me to my last topic, which is the tax increases. And I know my neighbors in this area, we saw our assessments go up. Mine went up, I think, 35%. My taxes went up 25%. So basically I got a 34% increase in my, my assessment. We got a 7% reduction in the tax rate. So net came out to about a 25% increase in taxes. And for the overall town, I think it was a 16% increase in assessments. And again, I think it was a 7% decrease in the tax rate. So in theory, that means there's about a 9% increase in revenue, tax revenue being collected across the town. But I don't know if you know was that driven through the schools? I didn't do the math. If it's the schools, the municipal tax rate that's taking up this extra revenue. Because in the municipal budget, the biggest number I saw increasing was interest. I think it was a $400,000 increase in interest payments in the 23 budget to 22. I'm not sure. I looked at this a while ago. And I'm concerned with all this bonding and the increasing interest rates. Are we on a trajectory that's going to keep going up? You know, are we getting ourselves into a trajectory that we're just going to keep paying more and more because of the interest burden? And I'm just,
And I'm going to
I'm
point to
wondering
the
who's,
CFO on
you know,
that.
who has this outlook, a long-term outlook of what the interest burden and the change in interest rates is going to do to our taxes. I said, I'm looking at 25% this year, and that's not a good number. So,
I mean, no one can predict the future. No one could have predicted COVID. No one could have ever predicted that the value of property in Highlands from 2018 until this year is up 82%. The assessed value of property in Highlands. If you were to go back in time and tell anybody that in 2018, they would be calling Bellevue and booking you a room. The rate at which new homes are being new homes are being built or old homes are being torn down and very grand homes are being built is just astronomical. Just today on Zillow, I looked and there were only 13 places for sale, including condos or homes. So it's a really crazy market. It continues to be a crazy market. I can't speak to what happens in Washington, D.C. with inflation or with interest rates. That's really out of our purview. I could tell you a lot of the projects that we're embarking on now, had they been done even, I don't know, 10 years ago, they would have been probably a third of the cost that they are now due to so many issues. We can simply, you know, doing the best that we can. We sit with the CFO, we come up with a budget, we say, what is it going to take to pay all of our bills in the next year? And that's how we strike the rate. I mean, it's how it affects your individual property. It's linked, but it's not a directly proportional link. Some people's taxes went down, some people's taxes went up.
and that's where
That's what I'm saying,
is that
you need to go.
Our neighborhood, our land values went up 2.5 times. And I know a lot of my neighbors got a much bigger percentage hit than I did.
Right.
And,
So, but what I'm saying is that the tax assessor is going to be able to speak particularly to you about your particular parcel and about how those went up.
But budget-wise, we didn't go up 26%,
No.
right? Like, so we're looking at, and
No,
Mr. Blasio, to be honest, but we were like 12.3 last year, we're 13.3 this year, and the line item for school revenue went from 2.6 million to 3.3 million. So about 700,000 of that million is school, which is back to the point of, do we want to continue to subsidize Atlantic Highlands with Highlands money or not? So like, I mean, that was a significant, and the beauty of these budgets is they break it down to the end where you can see, okay, what was 22's number, what was 23's number, and it's going to go into the fine-grained detail of which each category goes with. But school, 700,000 more year over year.
yeah, as I said, it's,
Another piece to throw in there is that Monmouth County, I believe, is the only county in New Jersey
yes.
which insists on 100% market value for every house, which is crazy.
yeah, but, I mean, that's the law. They're
But
just
only
following the
Monmouth
law.
County, the other counties don't do that.
And
So that means every
They
year
look-
it looks at the sales and then, you know, extrapolates that.
every
passes on.
county does a tax equalization chart.
Yep.
We're lucky enough to have Mr. De Blasio here today, so like, did we miss anything that you would like to call
No,
out?
no, the only thing I want to add is, our debt is 2.6% of our valuations, we're allowed to go 3.5%, so we're, you know, we're 2/3 away there, we still have more room that we can go up, so it's not really a debt issue. You mentioned about the interest going up 400,000, and the fact of the matter is, we used to borrow funds at 0.35%, which is just so low. And we were able to borrow that money because it's double the tax-free, federal and state-free. So we get some really good rates. Now, the rates are about 4.5 and higher. So it went up 10 times, you know. So no control of this council. It's simply the state of the economy, you know. So every town, if you see every town's debt service, every town went up. So everyone faced that, and it's really nothing that can be done getting that debt down.
But people are facing that individually, at the same time they're seeing it on their taxes.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean,
it's
it's a real
just
number.
trying to, like I said, have a look forward, you know, that we're responsible in understanding the impact the debt service will have on future taxes. And because there has been a large increase in debt service. I've been here 6 years now. I happened to buy right around 2018, so I guess I made a good decision.
Yes, you did.
So, okay, thank you.
No. Gloria, you sure? Okay, okay. Well, it seemed no other speakers. I will close public portion.
Executive session will be held following the regular council meeting. Prior to each executive session, the Borough Council will convene an open session, at which time a resolution will be adopted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-13. No formal action will be taken during executive session. Resolution to enter executive session. Be it resolved that the following portion of this meeting shall not be open to the public. Be it further resolved that the private consideration is deemed required and is permitted because of the following noted exceptions set forth in the Act: potential litigation, attorney-client privilege, LoSAP ordinance, contracts. Be it further resolved that it is anticipated that the matters to be considered in private may be disclosed to the public at a later date when the need for privacy no longer exists.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Councilmember Cervantes?
Yes?
Councilmember Chalak?
Yes.
Councilmember Melnick?
Yes.
Council President Chesky?
Yes.
Mayor Brion?
Yes.
Motion carries to enter executive session at 8:07. Please exit.
I will make
May I have a motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
Second.
So it's all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is still adjourned at 8:24. Thank you, everyone.